Do any of your cameras still have that?
I use mostly manual lenses, so I think all of mine still have this.
Oh. All right, and hop to the next one.
Okay, now we're going to get a little more complicated. I apologize for that. But we're gonna look at the same thing a little more closely. This is an 85 millimeter lens on one of my Nikons. It's not a Nikon lens, so this company, Rokinon, does it a little bit differently. They, instead of having colors on the field guide, they have the actual f-stop numbers on there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look where the word Nikon, if you look just right of Nikon, you'll see a row of f-stop numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your depth of field guide again. So let's say we're photographing at f22. My screen is pixelated. Is it focused?
I know.
Focused at, what does that say? 2 feet? 20 feet?
I know. I think it's 20.
Okay.
I think it's kind of it's pixelated on my end too, obviously.
Okay, so the lens is focused at 20 feet, and your f-stop setting is f22. So going by the guide on this lens, it says that everything from 13 feet to 50 feet is going to be in focus. So that's a total of 37 feet.
Right.
So your depth of field is 37 feet.
You can get really particular with your photos with something like this, when you know those exact numbers.
Yeah, if you get comfortable with using different apertures, then you can get real specific on what you have in focus and what you don't have in focus.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big plus when you're trying to do creative photography.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's take the same lens and the same f-stop, but now we're focused at 4.5 feet.
Huh.
So we're still at f22, still using the same lens, but we're focused closer.
Interesting.
Now our depth of field starts at, it looks like 4 feet and goes to 5.5 feet.
Yep.
Or 5.25.
Yep.
So now, even though we're still using f22, we only have 1.25 foot depth of field. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. Oh, as much sense as it can make.
I told you it's a little bit complicated, but the whole idea behind this is that the closer you are to your subject, the closer you're focusing, the harder it is to get it in focus.
Yes.
And that's because your depth of field gets dramatically shorter as you focus closer.
Right. So it's those pictures where you can almost like see the molecules of a flower are with a pretty high-tech lens probably that can get really close and take that really close photo.
Call those macro lenses.
Okay, because I've tried to. I mean, I've noticed that there's a point where my camera just it can't focus because I'm so close, and I have to slowly back away until I see it come in focus, and then get the picture. So that's just because the lens that I have.
Well, do you remember last week we had a picture of a wooden camera, a pinhole camera?
Yeah.
Pinhole cameras are the only ones where focus starts right at the lens opening.
Oh.
Everything from the front of the camera outward is in focus on a pinhole photograph. Wow. With the cameras like your 35 millimeter and with cell phones and point shoots, there's always, your lens can only focus so close.
Right.
So there's always going to be some minimal focus distance. You'll have to be some minimum distance away from your subject.
Yeah.
To begin to get it in focus.
Huh. All right, we'll jump to this last slide.
That just compares the two. Same lens, same f-stop, but focused closer. Your depth of field goes from 37 feet to just over 1 foot.
Wow.
So just a little guide to keep in mind when you're focusing on something that's close to you, you might want a little more depth of field to make sure you get it in focus.
Well, I have
focusing on something further away, you might not need that aperture. You could use it in shutter speed instead.
Mhm. Well, my last picture might be a good. So this picture was one of those ones where I had to back up to get that flower actually in focus. So it's like something has got to be in focus in this picture.
Yep. So that distance from your lens to that flower tells you your minimal focus distance.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, yeah, I had a lot of fun with these assignment photos. I was probably most intimidated by this week's assignment pictures, but ultimately, I think I got. I'm happiest with these pictures that I got.
Yeah, like I say, depth of field is kind of confusing because the numbers, go backwards.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense intuitively, but once you start taking photos, then it starts to make sense. If you start playing with your camera and using different apertures, it'll slowly kind of come in focus to you.
Perfect. Yeah, I think, like you said, it does just take, and maybe even, seeing a picture and it doesn't come out good at all, and then okay, those two settings are not working together, try something different.
Yeah, and like I say, it varies by lens, too. Your wide-angle lenses are going to have more depth of field than your telephoto lenses.
Right. Absolutely. Well, that is all we have for today's session. And a reminder, next week we won't be having a session. I will be in the desert, hopefully getting some good pictures. And then the next session will be, I'm not looking at a calendar, but the following Tuesday. And it'll be ISO. So that'll be the 10th of May.
All right. Good job on your homework assignment this week, and I look forward to seeing what you do with ISO.
All right. Thanks so much, John.
Well,
Bye.
Thanks, Danielle.